Sister wives. Kody's love for Robyn Brown has waned. Robyn alleges that Kody has become too close to her daughter, Aurora. Kody Brown even gave Aurora a covert deed to a portion of Robyn's property. Sadly, Robyn claims that it is a betrayal. Hello friends, welcome to the Daily Gossip News Update. I am Olivia and hope you are well by God's grace. Please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. How must it feel after dedicating years of your life to a marriage, only to feel increasingly sidelined as your spouse's attention gravitates towards someone else? Oh, and that someone is also their wife. It sounds frustrating, right? But that's exactly what happened on Sister Wives. What was supposed to be a show representing a healthy polygamous dynamic turned into years of chaos, which continued even after 3 of Kody Brown's 4 wives left him. While there were many issues within the family, Kody's glaring favoritism toward Robyn was one of the main sources of conflict. It was a sigh of relief for fans to see his first 3 wives finally leave the toxic dynamic and call out Kody's behavior. For years, I thought Kody only wanted to be in a relationship with Robyn. That's where he put all his time and energy. Not only has he claimed to have only loved her, but he's now hinted he may be interested in maintaining their unintentionally monogamous dynamic, even though Robyn is struggling. But just because his eye isn't wandering doesn't mean his attention isn't on someone else, or, more accurately, himself. I have long called out Kody's narcissistic behavior, and there's been no indication that his self-centered actions have changed. Robyn has even admitted she feels burdened now that she's the only wife left dealing with Kody, which raises a larger question: is their love even genuine? Or is his professed love really about control and validation? If Robyn were to follow in the footsteps of her former sister wives, it's likely Kody would cast her as the villain, repeating the very same patterns he showed when his other marriages broke down. If that's the case, then Kody's so-called affection for Robyn may be just as self-serving as his hair care routine. From infatuation to favoritism, Kody's relationship with Robyn. Kody seemed head over heels for Robyn when they first started courting in 2010. But there's a difference between love and infatuation, and when I look at the details of their relationship, I think Kody was feeling the latter. He compared his feelings for Robyn as a teenager experiencing love for the first time. Kody already had 3 wives when he met Robyn, so it's surprising to me, and frankly offensive to his other wives, that he now suggests he never had feelings for them. Robyn represented something new and exciting, a shake-up to the routine he had settled into with Mary, Janelle, and Christine. By the time he married Robyn, he'd been in plural marriage for nearly 2 decades. Kody and Mary legally married in 1990, and they welcomed Janelle in 1993 and Christine in 1994 via spiritual marriage. Those early marriages seemed focused on building a plural family. All the wives came from polygamous backgrounds. When Robyn came along, the Browns hadn't been actively looking to expand the family. In 2014, Kody went to great lengths to legally marry Robyn, something he never did for Janelle or Christine. Kody reasoned that he wanted to legally adopt Robyn's children from a previous marriage, but doing so meant he had to divorce Mary. On the surface, this could look like a grand, romantic gesture, but it was also practical and possibly strategic. By legally marrying Robyn, Kody gave his favorite wife a level of legitimacy and security that the others never had, while reinforcing his role as the patriarch. From the beginning, I thought Kody's preferential treatment toward Robyn was obvious, and it only became more apparent as the seasons went on. Take the wedding rings, for example. Kody wore the same ring Mary gave him for years, even after spiritually marrying Janelle and Christine. When he began courting Robyn, he insisted on melting that ring down. He then had his wives design and pay for a new claddagh ring that he started wearing after marrying Robyn. Later, in 2022, viewers noticed Kody wearing yet another new ring, one that was apparently gifted by Robyn, while filming season 18. This came after both Christine and Janelle had left the family, but Kody remained spiritually committed to Mary. For him to switch rings again replacing one that symbolized his plural family with one representing only Robyn, was another slap in the face. Meri confronted him about it on camera, but he refused to give her a real answer. Unsurprisingly, Meri announced she was leaving him a few months later in early 2023. For me, there are countless examples of Kody putting his favoritism for Robyn on display. He hired her a nanny, a luxury he didn't offer to his other wives. He convinced the family to help finance her large, new home while the others were still struggling to secure stable housing. Once Robyn was in the picture, it was like he forgot about the rest of the family entirely. It's also extended to the kids. Several of Kody's children with Christine, Janelle, and Meri have said they barely see him, and they don't have much of a relationship. Meanwhile, Robyn's children, both from her previous marriage and her kids with Kody, appear to have a much closer bond with him. But all of this isn't necessarily proof of love. If anything, it points to Kody's self-centeredness. He tends to focus his energy where it benefits him the most or where he feels most respected. It's likely to have been easier for him to bond with Robyn's kids because he's still on good terms with Robyn, whereas his strained relationships with his other, now ex-wives, have made it harder for him to connect with their kids. And, as his adult children have become more outspoken, it's likely worsened their strained relationship with Kody. Kody's affection seems conditional. It's based on loyalty and admiration. He uses it like a reward to give to those he sees as worthy. He constantly compared Robyn's behavior to the disrespect and betrayal he claims to have experienced from his other wives. But those women spent nearly 30 years living with Kody. They knew his flaws and weren't afraid to challenge him. But the more they did this, the more Kody seems to have focused on Robyn, putting those marriages to the wayside. Robyn came into the family wearing rose-colored glasses. Everything was fresh, and she and Kody were in the honeymoon phase, whereas that period was long gone for his other relationships. Robyn admitted she was looking for security after leaving an abusive marriage, and she wanted the support and protection of a plural family. In hindsight, it seems to me she may have been more in love with what Kody represented than who he really was. And the same might be said for Kody. He loved how Robyn stroked his ego and reinforced the behavior he wanted to see in his other wives. Robyn has always been the least vocal and the least critical. She's more differential, which may explain why she's remained in Kody's good graces for so long. Kody, to put it nicely, reacts poorly to being challenged. He'd likely assumed bringing in a fourth wife would realign the family dynamic and reestablish his dominance. But when the other wives didn't fall in line the way Robyn did, he directed all his positive energy toward her instead, which was likely the start of the end for his first 3 marriages. TLC has never brought in a therapist to analyze the sister wives cast, but maybe they should. Fans have been calling Kody a narcissist for years. While we can't get him an official diagnosis, he does show many of the classic signs: a need for control, lack of empathy, and an inflated sense of self-worth. They say history repeats itself, so it's possible the same cycle could play out with Robyn. Can narcissists truly love someone? According to experts, narcissists tend to equate love with how another person makes them feel about themselves. It's not about emotional intimacy, it's about their ego. This sounds a lot like Kody. Now, that's not to say Kody has NPD. But it seems like both he and Robyn fell in love with what the other represents more than who they truly are. Kody represented protection and stability for Robyn. Robyn represented security and validation for Kody. He loved how she made him feel, especially in contrast to his other wives. When she came along, she admired and supported him, and perhaps most importantly, she didn't challenge him. I think this is why he threw himself into the relationship so quickly and enthusiastically, and established a pattern of favoritism early on. And it also explains why the couple seem to be having issues now, over a decade into their marriage, as Robyn is no longer living with the same rose-colored glasses, maybe ones that are just slightly tinted. Narcissistic relationships tend to follow a pattern. The first stage is idealization. where the narcissist puts their partner on a pedestal. This period is often filled with love bombing, intense praise, and quick emotional escalation, which parallels Kody's early treatment of Robyn. The second stage is devaluation. Once the partner shows signs of independence, questions the narcissist, or no longer boosts their ego, the affection begins to fade. The narcissist may start to pull away, become critical, and emotionally withdraw. The final stage is to discard, where the narcissist detaches emotionally and rewrites the narrative. They may shift blame onto the other person and cast themselves as the victim. While Kody never formally ended any of his marriages, he definitely withdrew emotionally. He told Meri he no longer had interest in intimacy with her. He constantly criticized his wives and pointed out their shortcomings, and after each separation, he painted himself as the victim. When Christine left, Kody accused her of betrayal. It was blatant gaslighting. He was projecting behaviors onto her that he had exhibited himself for years. Christine, Janelle, and Meri were routinely sidelined as Kody prioritized Robyn and her children. But when those wives decided to leave, he couldn't own up to his behavior. So far, Robyn has remained on her pedestal. But now that she's admitted to struggling without the support of her sister wives, there's a chance Kody's affection may start to fade, just like it did in his other marriages. And if he's not willing to be there for her during hard times, then what does that say about the love he claims to have for her? With that being said, the now monogamous Robyn and Kody just bought a new $1 million property. There are also rumors of a possible spin-off as Sister Wives nears its 20th season. Whether Kody and Robyn stay together or not, there's one thing that I'm sure about. The drama isn't going anywhere, and neither are we. On Sister Wives, Kody Brown and his wife Robyn appeared to have the most coverage of the Koyo Pass story in Flagstaff. The news came this week, and it has finally been resolved. Although it wasn't TLC's most popular story of season 19, it did include the wives, since 2 of the original cast members became upset about it. Kody resolved his Arizona land dispute with his ex-wives Janelle and Meri after they threatened legal action over the property on the TLC series, according to a report published by The Sun US on April 2. After the media acquired court documents pertaining to the transaction, the news broke. The source mentioned, citing the documents. In essence, it stated that Janelle and Meri Brown, who are not married, currently possess 25% of 2 properties each. A third property that was formerly owned by Kody and Janelle is now divided 50-50 between them. Kody and Robyn still own 1 property. News reactions from fans TLC viewers were quick to remark on the long-disputed topic on Reddit. According to the OP, they made a small correction to the graphic. Everyone signed off on the changes in January except Robyn, who waited until March 26. They added, citing sarcasm. So after waiting 3 more months, I hope they then hit her with, "So now, let's talk about our share of your mansion," a fan remarked in the conversation section. This is the first step in being able to sell and get a more fair share of the property, stated another Kody Brown and Robyn hater. It has to be split evenly. They will now need to fight to sell it or be bought out by Robyn and Kody. I assume that at this time, they all wish to sell. Here is a more illustration of the responses. Yes, Sister Wives lovers, Kody Brown is back on the show. Fans don't seem to recognize him as the father he once was. Let's now discuss his most recent fatherly adventure and his most recent attempt at earning money. After that, you can determine whether he scared or bewildered a new set of parents. The most recent change for Kody Brown occurred during the Sister Wives mid-season break in season 19. He was struggling financially with their Koyo Pass property when he was last seen on film. In a different matter, he is also estranged from several of his children from his previous spouses, Janelle Brown and David Woolley. However, it appears that he is working on a solution for both problems today. It sounds like Kody is headed towards self-reinvention and addressing these 2 issues in typical Kody fashion. But in doing so, he drew heavily on his fathering toolkit. He then used what he had taken out to give prospective parents guidance. And his words are jaw-dropping. If his own children happen to view this, it might also be a method to make fun of them. First, it appears that the sister wives patriarch is returning to Cameo to sell himself to followers online through videos in an attempt to alleviate his financial difficulties. Robyn's husband has suddenly posted his open for business sign online, but Kody Brown had been declining video requests for some time. Some admirers joke that Kody has resumed filming videos in order to support Robyn's costly doll addiction. Robyn's pastime made headlines recently, since Kody's wife allegedly spent over $61,000 on it over the past 2 years, while she amassed a huge collection of dolls. According to reports, that enormous amount was spent on clothing and accessories in addition to dolls. According to Janelle Brown, Kody's adult daughter, Robyn, and Kody spend far more than they can afford. In addition to returning to Cameo, Kody has increased the cost of a customized fan video to $149. There's a lot of talking and smiling there. Robyn's husband used to charge merely $99 per personalized message. But if Robyn's spending is as extravagant as Janelle says, that seems like it would barely scratch the surface, even at $149 per video. To pay for Robyn's $61,000 doll habit, Kody would have to produce 410 videos, which would require about 20 hours of continuous video production, that is, if Kody's messages are that popular. Additionally, he must pay the substantial amount owed to Mary and Janelle for their interest in Coyote Pass. Additionally, Kody is suing Christine for child support obligations that include payments retroactively for nearly 4 years. This sister wife's husband's obligations would probably be much greater than the Cameo gig. However, it's possible that these videos aren't meant to assist Kody in handling his financial responsibilities. According to other followers, this could just be an attempt to inflate his ego. In one of his most recent Cameo videos, Robyn's husband appears to become very passionate and excited when fans ask him for advice. Fans of sister wives were taken aback by some of the advice Kody provided to 2 new parents. Fans initially questioned whether the individual who made the request for the Cameo video had even seen the TLC program. If you've ever watched Kody interact with his children from Janelle and Christine, it might be like asking a plumber to do brain surgery when you approach Kody Brown for professional parenting guidance. At this point, several of his children intentionally shunned contact with the sister wife's father, especially the children of Janelle and Christine. He talked on and on about what parents should do, though, as if he was excited to offer his parenting expertise. He used the term respect far too frequently, according to several supporters, raising red flags for onlookers. Fans witnessed a number of Janelle and Christine's children lose regard for their father during the past few seasons. Even Kody Brown eventually stopped talking to Robyn and Kody. Fans were taken aback by this since Kody maintained her relationship with Robyn and her father despite Christine, Janelle, and other of her siblings closing the door on their father. As the patriarch of the Brown family, Kody repeatedly stated during Sister Wives seasons that he expected his wives, Mary, Christine, and Janelle, as well as their children, to treat him with respect. However, Kody may have a different definition of respect than most people. Even if his family doesn't agree with his direction, he seems to expect them to follow his example. According to him, a wife who unconditionally and unquestioningly follows him demonstrates the respect he deserves. Robyn was the only wife who did this, Kody noted. However, in typical Kody form, spectators see one thing while he says another. Mary, Janelle, and Christine, the 3 spouses who left the marriage, witnessed Kody go above and above to win Robyn's approval, not the other way around as he claimed. In order to commemorate the birth of their child, a new father asked Kody Brown to make a film for his wife. Kody informed the new parents that when it comes to babies, they're usually so easy to love, and Robyn's husband glowed when he heard the word baby. Usually feels like an odd term. How is it possible not to adore a baby? Particularly your own child. The real key to parenting your children is to love them when they get older and when they get mouthy, followed by Kody's statement. Christine's ex-husband seems to be talking about how much he loved his children despite his dislike for them. Additionally, we've seen on Sister Wives the arguments that suggested he occasionally didn't like his children. Additionally, Kody stated that you must never let your children do anything to you that will make you resent them if you want to love them. Fans of Sister Wives who heard the message believe Kody is blaming the child. Additionally, Janelle's ex seems to be claiming that his kids caused him to become resentful of them. Make sure you are loving them enough for them to keep that respect. But you have to set the boundary for that respect. Kody continued while discussing respect. Meanwhile, many Sister Wives fans believe that his children from Janelle and Christine lost love for their father since he prioritized Robyn and her children. Additionally, some fans fear that the new parents who purchased this cameo video would adopt his strange parenting style. There was no mention of unconditional love for your child in the message. Is the lesson Robyn's husband sent about transferring the blame on parenting worth $149? The general theme seems to be kid blaming, which doesn't seem like the best course of action for new parents. The first to declare her separation from Kody was Christine. Although they had been spiritually married since March 1994, Christine announced in November 2021 that she and Kody were divorcing. Mary was released from her spiritual marriage with the Brown patriarch in January 2023, when Janelle decided to break up with Kody a year later.